All right, so it's 4 days into October, the dreaded month that we have been promised, the worst El Nino that we have ever seen. So far, so good, nothing yet. But we're still getting prepared, aren't we?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And the heat, like we're talking about, should tell you something about
is on the way.
Something coming. Ominous clouds, not yet, but perhaps that's one of the harbingers that we should be looking out for. Anyhow, the Ministry of Interior, which is part of a multi-sectoral task force that's been coordinating information on El Nino, released some information today. I'll just run through some of it because it's fairly important that people should know. These are the 23 counties. These are 15 of them, but there's 23 that we expect that, or rather the country expects, will be hit by El Nino. I'll just try and run through them as quickly as possible. Nairobi, Narok, Kwale, Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, Marsabit, Samburu, Isiolo, Meru, Makueni. Basically the top half of the country, all the counties of the north, as well as parts of central and eastern, ending down in the south towards Lamu, Tana River, Taita, Taveta, Mombasa, Elgeyo, Marakwet as well. Those are the counties that are going to be affected. This list will be circulated through the week, of course, on our website as well as on government communication facilities. Now, there are some things that people ought to know, and these are with regard to Nairobi. These are the likely landslide zones when El Nino rolls around. Mathare, Dagoretti, Kibera, at those riverbanks that as yet have not been evacuated. The warnings and the cautions are that people should move to higher ground. Likely flash flood areas: Uhuru Highway, Mombasa Road, South Sea, Langata, T-Mall areas near Ngong River, areas near the Nairobi River, of course, Roysambu, CBD, Donholm, Umoja, Komarock, and lower parts of Thika Road, Landhies Road, and Jogoo Road. These are all areas that in May flooded pretty badly. You remember those horrific scenes of that bus from Makini Primary School. I was flooded almost until the windows. These are storm and strong wind zones: Chiromo, Limuru Road, Karura Forest, Kilimani, Lavington, Karen, and Eastlands. Now, let's go forward, apart from these storm and strong wind zones, to things that you can do, according to the government, to keep safe. Quite a number of things, so I'll try and get through them fairly quickly as well. Remember, that information will be available on our website later on. Minimize movement, making movements by using communication technology. Acquire alternative sources of electricity, so stock up on your batteries, on your chargeable lights. Heed traffic advisories. There should be traffic advisories when rain patterns become more predictable within the El Nino season. Ensure that your vehicle is in good condition before the start of the trip. Don't try and drive it if your vehicle is flooded. Like, remember that picture that made the rounds on social media during those rains in May. That is actually very, very dangerous. Do not do that. Don't walk or drive in any moving or stagnant water. Practice good sanitation. That's going to be a concern for people living around informal settlements, especially the Korogosho, Dandora areas, also Mathare, Mukuru, Kwanjenga, because of the amount of garbage that has been dumped. If garbage is not being collected in your neighborhood, complain until that is done. If it is private garbage collectors who are doing so, they need to do so fairly soon. Now, also sleep under a mosquito net. There are areas like Mavoko that border Nairobi County. These areas, Mombasa Road, South Sea, we know are prone to mosquitoes because of the swamps in these areas and in different parts of Nairobi. So mosquito nets definitely are something that you need. And of course, keep alternative communication near you. So if you have one mobile phone, keep it charged. If you have another, you should also keep that one charged as well, and keep as many as you can around you, and keep in touch with your family. Maybe come up with a list of members of your family that you need called in case of an emergency, and maintain situational awareness. We'll be trying to help you with this. So watch the news, go to social media, go online, read as much as you can about El Nino to ensure that you're not caught flat-footed when the rains begin. Remember, 1997, 1998 were fairly bad. Let me just run you through some of the numbers from last time. In terms of agricultural loss, we lost about 558 billion shillings in terms of water damage. In terms of agricultural loss, we lost 14.3 billion shillings. Transport infrastructure was wiped out in some parts of this country, and we lost the equivalent at that time of 41 billion shillings. Of course, there are numbers that you can call, and those are the ones that you should call. The EOC desk landline, those are the numbers on your screen right now, as well as the Kenya Red Cross, and any emergency contacts that you may have. Keep them close and do not take these warnings for granted. Better safe than sorry this time around. Remember, it's a global warning of one of the worst that we've had in the history of this country and in many parts of the world.
That's right. And I think, like you said, better safe than sorry, and take heed of this. I think we're seeing quite a bit in terms of like you call them, El Nino preps.
Yeah.
So let's just see what happens when El Nino finally hits. We're all keeping our fingers crossed and praying and hoping that it won't be as bad. But then again, you never know. All right. So we'll continue to have those numbers for you, of course, as we carry on right here on KTN News. So stay with us for more on that. Let's